Hey there, this is Darren LaCroix, day 20. Whoops. My smooth doesn't want to work. No! Nice. I charged it too. All right, so this is going to be a little weird. All right, well, we'll do our best. That's live. So these are not CDs. They look like CDs, but they're not CDs. These are actually little celebrations. Early on when I was still, whoops, that's crazy. Early on in my career when I was still just getting started, sorry for the jittery, I did charge it up and now it's not playing nice. So, I'm just going to have to hold it. So early on in my career when I was just getting started, living at home with mom and dad, I had no money. I was living on a telemarketer's salary, trying to pay off my business loans, my school loans, and not having any money to market. So one of the things, I don't even remember where I heard it from. It might have been a fellow Toastmaster, somebody at NSA, but you still got to celebrate. So what I decided to do is every single time I booked a speech, I would buy a CD. So I would force myself, even though I wanted to buy the CDs, I would force myself to not buy music. That was like my one little thing. So CDs back then were like $20. So when I would book a speech, if I would book a speech for $50, I would buy myself a CD. When I booked myself a speech for $100, I would buy myself a CD. $1,000, I would buy myself a CD. Back then, those were few and far between. But truly, this is annoying, but truly, those meant something to me because they were little tiny celebrations. It wasn't just having the music, it was the celebration of getting some fruition, of making something happen. So it truly meant so much more than just a CD to me. So I looked at what I was going to buy next, and that was like the little tiny thing that kept me going. Because there just wasn't enough. There wasn't enough bookings. There wasn't enough. So even if I would give a free speech and sell a couple of books, I would buy a CD. It was that one tiny little hope. So what does that mean to you? What are your little celebrations? So if you keep a habit in check, like this challenge, what are you going to do to spoil yourself? Whether it's booking a speech or whatever it is you do. If you're a ClickFunnels person, you get another sale. Obviously, you know, what was the beauty of it is it was just a $20 CD. So even if I did, again, a $1,000 speech, I would still only buy myself that one little CD until I get out of debt. So that was, okay, now it wants to work. That was my plan. So what's your plan? How are you going to celebrate? How are you going to pat yourself on the back and give you that little treat? That is celebrating. So, one of my CDs was Queen. I remember getting this one, Counting Crows. And I remember one of the songs on that meant so much to me. I still remember being at the Toastmasters conference, a regional conference, which I had never been to a regional. They don't even have those anymore. But this was long before I won. And I remember the song, Mr. Jones, I want to look at the TV and see me stare back at me. And I was like, that was kind of like that goal that I wanted to be able to, I don't know, I guess that's how I framed, making it or something like that. I want to stare at the TV and see me staring back at me. So the song and the music keeps us going. Whoops. All right. I got to figure out why my smooth isn't so smooth. I also remember Molly Hatchet. One of the songs on here that I would listen to over and over again was Dreams I'd Never See. And that song, even though it sounds depressing, it would just keep me going. Bruce Springsteen. I love Bruce because he was such a great storyteller. I had no idea how important storytelling would be to my career and what I do now. Alanis. I remember when I was just getting started and we used to make newsletters on paper. Believe it or not, email newsletters used to actually be on paper. And I was learning PageMaker I don't recommend that. It's for designers only. It's now called InDesign. I remember it was like my birthday weekend, and I got that CD, and I like listened to the Angry Alanis all weekend. I'm like, I am gonna figure out this program, and I just kept working it until I figured it out. Because I couldn't afford to buy or get a designer or someone else to do the newsletter for me, so I had to learn PageMaker. Let's see what else is here. Oh, Right Now by Van Halen. You probably know that was one of the songs I listened to before I went into the comedy club. So what's your celebration? What's that little thing that you can do? But here's the key. You've got to hold out and not give it to yourself unless, in fact, you do make that goal. I hope that makes sense. So sorry for the shakiness. I'm going to have to come up with a better plan tomorrow, but that's live. So how are you going to celebrate? What are those little things you can do for yourself, the little spoiling yourself? Because it's important to keep you going, especially if you got a big dream and especially if you're just getting started. The little celebrations help you develop momentum, which I talked about a couple days ago. All right. See you tomorrow, and we will be smoother